Snark Squad.
Babes.
The wine.
The vibe.
All cozy.
And babes, we are ready.
We are so ready. Honestly, I need this tonight.
You do. We all do. Because, okay, I have to set the scene for you. I was just, minding my own business.
Right.
I was just scrolling TikTok, living my life, completely at peace with the universe.
Which is rare for you, honestly.
Shut up. It is. But I was. And then I came across something.
Yeah.
And it sent me down an absolute rabbit hole.
Oh, God. Which side of TikTok? Please tell me it wasn't the people making, beef Wellingtons out of hotel room coffee makers again.
No, thank God I blocked that algorithm.
But this is equally concerning. I ended up on this blog, right, by Yoga Flow Sandra.
Okay, sounds crunchy. I'm listening.
Super crunchy. And she was talking about this psychological phenomenon from, the late 90s, Arthur Aaron's 36 Questions to Fall in Love. Have you heard of this?
Oh, I have. It's that famous 1997 study where the premise is basically if you sit across from a total stranger and answer these progressively invasive questions, you can, hack the human limbic system.
Yes.
You basically manufacture intimacy, and by intimacy, I obviously mean pure, unadulterated, highly accelerated delusion.
See, but wait. Listen to what Sandra did. She decided to test it out on her husband. They've been married for 10 years, and she wants to see if it, sparks that original fire.
Okay. A dangerous game, but sure.
Right. So she asked him the very first question on the list, which is, given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
And let me guess. He said, Elon Musk or something insufferable?
No. Babes, he just looked at her across the table and he said, you.
Oh, wow.
Right. I thought it was incredibly sweet. I was getting a little emotional reading it. He chose her out of everyone in the entire world.
Okay. Let's just put on our analytical hats for a second here.
Oh, here we go.
He is just an antisocial, bah humbug Grinch who absolutely hates people.
Stop.
I'm serious. He doesn't want to make small talk with a historical figure. He doesn't want to engage in, witty banter with Ryan Gosling. He just wanted to eat his dinner in peace without having to entertain a guest.
You are so cynical.
Saying you to the person who is literally already sitting across from you is just the path of least resistance. It's not romance, babes. It's efficiency.
I can't with you. You genuinely don't believe that's an expression of love.
I believe it's an expression of a man who doesn't want to share his garlic bread with a stranger. I really do.
Oh, my God. But honestly, it brings up a much more fascinating point. Because we need to talk.
Yeah.
Is this real? Do we actually believe this works?
The questionnaire.
Yeah. Are we one questionnaire away from falling in love? Can you manufacture love in a laboratory setting?
I mean, I am intrigued by the theory behind it.
Yeah.
Because if you strip away all the, the romance and the poetry, love is basically just vulnerability and shared experiences, right? The actual psychological mechanism behind Arthur Aaron's study is, wait, I have it pulled up. It's called Sustained Escalating Reciprocal Personalistic Self-Disclosure.
Wow. Very fancy. Very clinical.
Right, which is just a deeply nerdy way of saying if I tell you a secret and you tell me a secret, our brains release oxytocin and we feel bonded.
Right, but human beings are messy. We are chaotic, unreliable narrators. You can't just bypass authentic emotional development with a PDF document.
Wow.
It feels highly performative. It's giving, we have absolutely zero natural chemistry, so let's just read off a teleprompter.
Okay, well, babes, we decided to test it.
We did. We absolutely did.
Right now, for the Snark Squad.
Ah.
Because we need to know if love in 2026 is real or if it's literally just vibes.
Just vibes and an internet quiz. I am already deeply dreading this, but yes, I brought the list.
Bring it on.
We are going to do 4 random questions, escalating in intensity, and I will go first.
Okay.
Question number 1. What would constitute a perfect day for you?
Oh, a perfect day. Okay.
Yeah.
I wake up and my phone has just magically dissolved into the ether. It doesn't exist.
Naturally.
Nobody needs me. I am entirely off the grid. I systematically reorganize my pantry by expiration date and color gradient.
Oh my God, you are so sick.
So let me finish. And then I consume exactly 2 glasses of an extremely dry Chablis while watching a 4-hour documentary about a historical maritime disaster.
Yeah.
And nobody speaks to me.
See, this is fascinating from a psychological standpoint.
Thank you.
Because your perfect day is essentially a sensory deprivation chamber with, administrative tasks. That sounds like a punishment to most people.
No, it sounds like taking back control of my nervous system.
Yeah.
What is your answer then? What is your perfect day?
Okay, my perfect day. I wake up, but there's no alarm. The concept of time literally does not exist.
Okay. Abstract.
I am wearing incredibly soft, matching, neutral-toned loungewear. I migrate seamlessly from my bed to my couch. I order a massive plate of loaded nachos on DoorDash.
Staple.
And I proceed to watch TLC for 14 hours straight. Zero responsibilities, zero unread emails, just me, melted cheese, and pure reality TV chaos.
So basically, your perfect day is a depressive episode with premium snacks.
It's aggressive self-care. There's a difference.
Sure, there is. Okay, next question. Question 2. When did you last cry in front of another person?
Oh, literally yesterday.
Wait, really?
Yes. I was at a coffee shop and I saw a video on my feed of this golden retriever who befriended an orphan duckling.
Oh, no.
And I just started openly sobbing into my iced matcha. The barista actually had to ask if I needed a moment. It was so embarrassing. When did you last cry?
Last Tuesday.
Wait, over what?
I was at the tech support bar because my laptop decided to suddenly crash. And the technician told me that my master spreadsheets were not backed up to the cloud.
You cried over a spreadsheet.
I shed a single, perfectly symmetrical tear of pure, unadulterated terror. Data loss is a modern tragedy.
This right here is why the study is flawed. The questions are supposed to breed intimacy, and right now I just feel genuine clinical concern for your emotional regulation.
Yay, my grief was valid.
Okay, question 3. Your house catches fire. After saving loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save any one item. What one item do you save?
Easy. The fireproof safe containing my passport, my birth certificate, and the physical deeds to everything I own. Obviously.
You are so practical, it borders on robotic.
It's the only logical choice to ensure post-disaster administrative stability. What are you saving? A decorative pillow?
No, I'm saving my limited edition iridescent pink tumbler.
I am sorry. What?
Do you know how hard it was to secure that tumbler? I practically had to fight an influencer in a Target aisle. I am not letting that melt.
You're going to perish in a literal inferno for a hydration vessel.
It keeps my water cold for 48 hours.
Incredible survival instincts, truly. Okay, final question. Number 4. What is your most terrible memory?
Oh, this is easy. Easily the time I went to a bottomless brunch.
A dangerous environment.
Always. I was wearing this brand new wrap dress.
Yeah.
And I stood up to go to the bathroom, trying to look incredibly chic and mysterious, you know?
Truly.
And my dress was entirely tucked into my tights in the back.
No.
Full moon, just out there, in front of an entire table of bachelorette party attendees who all pointed it out in unison.
A communal tragedy. I am so sorry.
It was horrific.
Yeah.
What about you?
The time I was at a highly professional networking event, I confidently walked up to someone I thought was an industry peer. I gave them a full, aggressive 5-minute elevator pitch about corporate synergies.
Oh no, where's this going?
And then slowly realized they were a cater waiter, just holding a tray of mini quiches.
No, the poor cater waiter. He was probably just waiting for you to take a quiche.
The sheer mortifying realization of my own hubris still haunts me at 3 in the morning.
Okay, well, we survived the questions.
We did.
The psychological vulnerability has theoretically been achieved.
Theoretically.
So look into my eyes.
I'm looking.
Babes, are we in love now?
Absolutely not.
Literally 0%.
Honestly, knowing that you would risk third-degree burns for a pink cup makes me question your fundamental decision-making skills. I feel less connected to you now.
I feel the exact same way about your spreadsheets. The experiment is a bust. We spiral, we joke, but Arthur, Aaron, I'm sorry, you cannot hack chemistry. This is purely forced.
It really is. And babe, speaking of trying to manufacture romance,
Oh, God.
one of us tried something remarkably similar recently.
Please don't. You don't have to do this.
I do. A date explicitly designed to be, romantic and intimate. That went horribly, traumatizingly wrong.
Babes, these things work in movies, not in real life.
Exactly. The Snark Squad deserves the truth. Gather round, everyone, because we are talking about the nude painting date.
I'm already hyperventilating. I'm dying laughing just thinking about it. You have to tell the full story. Break down the expectations versus the horrifying reality.
Okay, so let's analyze the setup here. I match with this guy. On paper, his metrics are perfect. Good job, seems stable, uses complete sentences.
The bar is in hell, but okay.
Right, so he suggests we do something creative. He wants an artsy, romantic, movie-esque moment to break the ice. So he books us a private, 2-person nude painting class.
Which I have to say, in a vacuum, sounds incredibly chic. It sounds like a scene from a rom-com. Like Demi Moore and Ghost, but with canvases instead of clay.
Right. That was my expectation. I was anticipating a certain aesthetic. I expected dim, moody lighting. Maybe some lo-fi jazz playing in the background. We'd be sipping a robust Cabernet, playfully dabbing paint, laughing over our lack of artistic skill.
It's supposed to be an exercise in shared vulnerability.
Exactly. But babes, let me tell you about the reality of this situation.
Please describe the lighting. I need them to know about the lighting.
Fluorescent. Overhead.
Oh.
We walked into this studio, and it was illuminated like a surgical theater. It was brighter than a DMV waiting room. There was zero ambiance. It was incredibly clinical.
I'm physically cringing for you. Just the glare on the canvas.
And then the model emerges. Now, listen, the human body is beautiful. Art is subjective. I have no issue with the human form.
Of course.
But I am on a first date with a man who works in corporate finance. And suddenly, under these interrogation lights, we are staring down the barrel of so much anatomy.
Just right in your face.
It was aggressive anatomy. It was an overwhelming amount of vulnerability for a Tuesday night with a total stranger.
What did your date do? How did he react to the anatomy?
The psychological collapse was instantaneous. He completely panicked. His fight-or-flight response activated, and he chose freeze.
He froze.
He started sweating profusely. And because he didn't know where to look, he just started aggressively mixing paint. He mixed every primary and secondary color on his palette together until it formed this putrid, fleshy, existential beige.
No! He created a beige panic puddle.
A beige panic puddle. We sat there in complete, overwhelming, suffocating silence for 90 straight minutes, just intensely painting a stranger's kneecaps while the fluorescent lights hummed above us.
I am dying. This perfectly illustrates why you cannot force a vibe. You cannot bypass the necessary stages of getting to know someone by jumping straight into high vulnerability situations.
You really can't.
It works for Hollywood screenwriters. It does not work for accountants.
It absolutely does not.
Yeah.
Romance requires psychological safety. You can't just manufacture it by taking someone's clothes off in a bright room. I am now deeply traumatized by the color beige.
Oh my God. Okay, babes, I need a moment to recover because my stomach hurts from laughing so hard. And speaking of our stomachs,
Yes.
we have something crucial on deck. The loaded nachos.
We need to dissect these nachos.
Yes.
Because these are fucking amazing.
I am entirely obsessed. I am literally eating them into the mic in my mind right now. The cheese pull on this plate is practically an architectural marvel.
Let's analytically rank this because a bad nacho is a tragedy and these are elite. First, we look at the structural integrity of the base chip.
A foundation.
Exactly. It is holding up under the weight of the toppings. We have zero soggy bottoms. The crunch level is maintaining a solid 9.5 out of 10.
And the topping distribution. It is an equitable society on this platter. It's not just like a sad clump of sour cream in the middle. Every single chip has exactly the right scientifically sound ratio of jalapeno, black bean, and pico de gallo.
The structural integrity of this cheese pull is honestly showing more commitment and resilience than half the relationships we talk about on this show.
Oh, the shade. But you are so right, which brings us perfectly to our main event.
Yeah.
Because we joke about failing the 36 questions, but our complete inability to manufacture intimacy is exactly what we're watching play out in real time.
It really is.
Let's talk about this week's 90-day universe mess on TLC.
Let's get into it, because Season 5, Episode 11, titled The Art of Dragging, was an absolute masterclass in psychological projection and pure delusion.
An absolute masterclass. I was screaming at my TV. Let's start with segment 1. The most delusional couple, who is desperately trying to convince themselves and the audience that they are in love when the reality is entirely different.
We have to call it out immediately. It is Vanja and Tony.
Oh my God, Vanja and Tony. My cortisol spikes just hearing their names. Stark Squad, we have to break down this dance class disaster scene frame by frame.
Let's look at the behavioral mechanics of what happened here. They go to a dance class. Tony explicitly, repeatedly states he does not want to dance. He sets a hard boundary.
Right.
So what does Vanja do? She respects his boundary, leaves him at the edge of the floor, and decides to dance with the instructor. Which contextually makes perfect sense. You are at a social dancing event.
Exactly. I was so outraged on Vanja's behalf. She literally says to him, I asked you if you want to dance and you said no, so then I told you I'm going to dance with somebody else and I did. She wanted him to step out of his comfort zone and share an experience with her. When he refused, she engaged with the environment anyway.
But Tony's ego cannot handle it. This is where we see his anxious attachment style flare up into controlling behavior. He interrupts her in the middle of the dance.
So embarrassing.
He steps onto the floor and completely publicly embarrasses her. And it leads to this massive explosive fight outside where she literally storms off, yells, I need to go find my frickin' phone. orders an Uber home alone.
The public humiliation as a control tactic is so gross, but babes, the psychology of it gets so much worse. Because then we arrive at the Ibiza and Croatia paranoia scene.
Oh, the preemptive jealousy. Let's unpack this. So Tony goes over to Vanja's apartment to drop her off at the airport. She is leaving for a 2.5-week vacation to Europe. And Tony decides this is the optimal moment to accuse her of a crime she hasn't even committed yet.
I transcribed his exact quote because I was shaking with rage. I literally paused the TV and wrote it down.
Read it.
He looks at her and says, what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're going to dance with random guys, what's going to happen?
In projection.
And Vanja looks at him, utterly baffled, and says, so you think I'm going to go cheat on you with a guy in Ibiza?
This is a textbook example of preemptive jealousy.
Yeah.
Tony is inventing a hypothetical scenario in his mind where Vanja is unfaithful and he is punishing her in the present for this imaginary future.
Yes.
He talks about how there are going to be many socials in Ibiza and Croatia. Who even uses the word socials like that? But his logic is basically, because you are entering an environment where you might have a good time, I need to punish you.
It is so toxic. He is framing his own insecurity as her behavioral problem. And Vanja rightfully calls him out. She tells him he's stopping her from being who she is. And what is Tony's response? He says, I think there's compromise.
That is the most insidious part. He uses the word compromise to disguise his demand for control. Compromise is deciding whether to order Thai or Italian for dinner.
Exactly.
Compromise is not dictating who your partner is allowed to make eye contact with on a dance floor in a different hemisphere. He is trying to clip her wings and calling it a mutual agreement.
Let's pull in the Snark Squad's thoughts from the subreddit, because the Reddit live thread was accurately diagnosing this all night.
Well, they always do. User First Pancake 74 absolutely nailed the dynamic. They said, this Vanja and Tony relationship confuses the hell out of me. It's just an endlessly toxic struggle for power.
It is entirely a power struggle. And then user A Girl Has No Rose called out the ultimate delusion. They pointed out that Vanja and Tony are a couple that, in the real world, should have broken up after 2 dates.
Without a doubt.
But they are desperate to force a relationship for TV. They are gripping onto a sinking ship, reading off a script of how they think a couple should act.
It's performative desperation. Okay, moving on to segment 2, the red flag ranking. Which cast member is currently ignoring a red flag so massive it can be seen from low Earth orbit?
Oh, babes. Courtney. Courtney and Colt. Or as the internet loathes to call him, Colty.
We need to break down the mechanics of this deception because it is wild.
Okay, let's establish the baseline reality. Colt told Courtney he was going to Canada to live with his mom. That was the established, agreed-upon narrative.
Right.
Plot twist. Courtney discovers he is not in Canada. He did not go to Canada. He flew straight from Florida to Brazil to visit a woman named Diana.
Diana, the woman he has been covertly sending videos to while ostensibly trying to reconcile with Courtney.
Exactly. And how does Courtney uncover this massive web of lies? Because Colt literally calls her, completely unprompted, from Brazil.
The audacity is staggering.
And what does Courtney do? Does she hang up? Does she block his number? Does she throw her phone into a ravine? No. She agrees to drive to the airport, pick him up, and help him get settled into a hotel.
The psychology of Courtney's compliance here is fascinating and honestly tragic. If we look at her interview quotes, she states, I feel responsible for him. And she says, I feel like Colt has some type of crazy power over me. We had such a deep, intense connection.
Babes, I was spiraling. I was pacing my living room. Courtney's parents are terrified for her, and they are right to be. Courtney even admits she doesn't trust herself around him. She knows she is susceptible to his manipulation. Courtney, this is why the block button was invented. Establish a boundary.
What Courtney is describing as a deep, intense connection is actually textbook trauma bonding.
Yep.
It's a behavioral loop driven by intermittent reinforcement. Colt gives her extreme highs. The romance, the promises, followed by extreme lows, the lying, the other women in Brazil. Courtney's brain becomes addicted to the cycle of trying to get back to the high. It feels like love to her, but it's actually just a stress response.
It's purely a stress response.
But the most infuriating part is how Colt manipulates her into picking him up. Did you catch the specific excuse he used?
Remind me, because my brain literally tried to protect me from it.
He manipulates her by deploying weaponized incompetence. He says, how's he going to get around? I can't drive.
No. The absolute unmitigated gall of this man.
Yes. He is using his own logistical inability to drive as an emotional Trojan horse.
Oh my God.
He frames it as a practical problem. Courtney, I simply cannot transport myself to force the woman he just betrayed, the woman who thought he was in snowy Canada while he was drinking caipirinhas in Brazil, to act as his personal chauffeur.
I am ranking this red flag a solid 10,000 out of 10. It is not just a red flag, it is a radioactive siren.
He is bypassing her emotional boundaries by appealing to her caretaker instincts. And it works. Courtney thinks she is being kind, but she is actually just enabling his complete lack of accountability.
I am officially aligning with the Reddit consensus on this. User working career 6254 was the voice of the people when they posted, shut up, Colt, you're a troll.
A literal bridge-dwelling troll. The verdict is indisputable.
Okay, deep breaths. I need more wine. Let's pivot to segment 3. Real love or real mess? We need to evaluate the authenticity of these connections. Which relationships feel genuine and which feel fake?
Spoiler alert, it is entirely pure, unadulterated mess. Specifically, the triangle of emotional terror that is Natalie, Gino, and Bella.
Enter the absolute MVP of the entire franchise, Bella, Natalie's daughter.
The only person on this entire network who is operating firmly grounded in objective reality. Let's set the stage.
Please.
Gino was supposed to hang out with Natalie and her brother, right? But Bella, who originally facilitated the meeting, completely refused to show up at the last minute.
And the resulting phone call, babes. The phone call. Natalie puts Bella on speakerphone in the car with Gino sitting right there, and Bella delivers a monologue that needs to be studied in conflict resolution seminars.
It was poetry. Read what she said. We need to analyze her syntax.
I memorized it. Bella says, I can't stand by and watch you embarrass yourself by associating, with such a troll like Gino. She calls him a troll.
Incredible.
And then she delivers the finishing blow. She says, I just think you're just too beautiful and smart and successful to be with such a spineless loser like him.
I am giving Bella a standing ovation in my living room. The articulation, the absolute clarity of her boundaries. She didn't just insult him. She laid out a clear cause and effect argument for why he is unacceptable.
I was jumping up and down, screaming, spineless loser! It was so cathartic.
Reddit user FirstPancake74 pointed out the historical significance of this moment. They said Bella is the first person in the history of 90 Day to speak the pure, unvarnished truth about Gino.
She really is. She functioned as the audience surrogate.
She said exactly what everyone has been screaming into the void for 3 seasons.
And how does Gino react? Does he self-reflect? Does he apologize? No. The absolute pathology of this man. He hears this incredibly articulate, factually accurate read of his character, and he just sits in the passenger seat and whines, I want to throw up. He claims Bella didn't give him a chance.
He immediately plays the victim. And remember his delusion earlier in the season. The absolute comedy of Gino genuinely stating on camera that he wanted to be a father figure to Bella.
Oh my God, yes. Reddit user just Monks32 laughed their ass off at that, and frankly, so did I. Father figure. Bella possesses more emotional intelligence and maturity than Gino could achieve in 3 lifetimes.
She does not need life advice from a man who wears a designated backup hat underneath his primary hat.
But wait, we have to talk about the Reddit sleuthing regarding Gino's lies about the infamous birthday fight, because Gino tried to rewrite history and act like he was this chivalrous protector.
Oh, the physical altercation between Jasmine and Natalie? Gino repeatedly claimed he valiantly stepped between them to shield Natalie from harm.
Yes. He built this whole narrative around his bravery. But user Inevitable Top 4517 did the Zapruder film-level frame-by-frame investigation.
I love when Reddit goes full FBI.
They went back, slowed down the footage, and proved Gino was completely fabricating the event. The user posted that Gino taking a step in between them is a reach. He literally took 1 step forward, got pushed back by Matt, and then just hid by Natalie.
It is hilarious. He took a micro step, encountered the slightest bit of physical resistance, and immediately retreated to hide behind the nearest sturdy object. He's not a protector. He is a liability in a crisis.
And when the producers confronted him about the allegations that Jasmine dragged him, I noticed this, and a Reddit user pointed it out too. Gino was visibly squeezing his eyes shut while denying it. Not convincing.
From a behavioral analysis standpoint, closing the eyes during a denial is a classic distancing technique. It's the body language of a liar. His brain cannot tolerate the cognitive dissonance of looking at the producer while telling such a blatant falsehood, so he literally blocks out his visual field. The pathology is fascinating.
Wow. Okay, let's wrap this up with segment 4. Would this last in real life? If we strip away the TLC cameras, the producer intervention, who actually survives in the real world?
Let's run down the couples. First up, Vanja and Tony.
Absolutely not. They don't make it to Friday.
0% chance of survival. Outside of this manufactured environment, Tony's preemptive jealousy would manifest constantly. Without the pressure of an impending televised vacation, they would have blocked each other on iMessage 3 weeks ago. They are categorically done.
I totally agree. Their foundation is built on suspicion. Okay, what about Courtney and Colt?
This is the tragic one. Because theoretically they fail. Practically.
See, I unfortunately think they might survive in real life.
Oh, totally.
But not in a healthy, thriving way. They will survive purely because of the sheer strength of their toxic trauma bond. It won't be a happy relationship. It will just be a miserable lifetime of Courtney doing airport pickups at 3 in the morning while Colt weaves elaborate fables about why his GPS shows him in South America.
It's the ultimate manifestation of the sunk cost fallacy. Courtney has invested so much emotional distress into Colt that her brain refuses to let her walk away empty-handed. She feels responsible for his survival, and he requires a host to manage his logistics. It's a parasitic relationship. They will survive together, but it will cost Courtney her sanity.
Exactly. They survive, but at what cost? Okay, final couple. Natalie and Gino.
The timeline has officially expired. Zero chance.
Bella holds the absolute veto power, and she exercised it flawlessly.
Bella showed up, dropped the mic, locked the deadbolt, and threw the key into the ocean. And honestly, Reddit user ShannonB1234 clocked the exact moment it ended. They said Natalie finally got the ick when Gino left.
The ick is a scientifically proven phenomenon. Once the ick arrives, it cannot be negotiated with, and it cannot be banished. It is terminal.
It is the point of no return. You could literally see the physiological shift in Natalie's face. The spell of the reality TV romance was broken. She looked at him through Bella's eyes and realized she was sitting next to a spineless liar.
Babes, what a sprawling, chaotic journey tonight has been.
Truly. We started our evening attempting to hack the human heart and force ourselves to fall in love using a 30-year-old psychological questionnaire we found on a yoga blog.
Only to realize that we are both deeply flawed individuals who value hydration vessels and spreadsheets over emotional intimacy.
Speak for yourself. I value administrative stability, but yes.
Then we achieved a fleeting moment of pure, unadulterated happiness through the scientifically perfect structural integrity of loaded nachos.
A high point.
And finally, we witnessed the stark, terrifying contrast between delusion and reality on TLC. From Tony disguising his paranoid control as a compromise to Colt using his inability to operate a motor vehicle as an emotional hostage tactic, to Bella delivering the psychological teardown of the century to Gino.
It is a lot to process.
Yeah.
So, Snark Squad, we turn the conversation over to you. We need your insight.
Do you actually believe in the 36 questions? Like, has anyone ever tried this experiment and actually fallen in love? We need the data.
And what is the absolute weirdest, most uncomfortable date you've ever been on? Does it beat staring at a naked stranger under interrogative fluorescent lighting while your date panic paints a canvas in flesh-toned beige?
I sincerely hope not, for the sake of your mental health.
And babes, the ultimate question we leave you with tonight. Is love in 2026 actually real, requiring work and boundaries and shared reality? Or is it literally just vibes, delusion, and holding on to a sinking ship?
Are we all just, Courtney, looking for someone to compromise our sanity for? Let us know in the comments. And remember to rate.
Review. Send in your submissions, your theories, and your most harrowing dating disaster stories. We live for the mess of it all.
And please, send this episode to your most delusional friend. You know exactly the one I'm talking about. The one who is currently warming up their car to go pick up their own Colt from the international terminal.
Intervention via podcast. Thank you to the Snark Squad for spiraling with us tonight.
Yeah.
We couldn't navigate this landscape of delusion without you.
Stay shady.
Stay iconic.
And we'll see you on the snark side.